All right, so top 5 losers from the NFL draft round 1, and we start off with my list. C-Cat will give you his in a second, and number 5 on that list is J.J. McCarthy from the Michigan Wolverines to the Minnesota Vikings. And a lot of people are saying J.J. McCarthy to the Vikings is perfect. It's a perfect situation for him, and I agree. But that therein is the reason why I say he's a loser from this NFL draft. He is in a position now where the pressure is never going to be any greater. The Vikings have Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison. You have a coach who's going to take no blame in Kevin O'Connell, who has proven himself already. You got Aaron Jones. You have a good running game. Brian Flores has that defense coached up right. You even brought in Dallas Turner later on in the draft. But if you're J.J. McCarthy, who do you think they're going to be blaming, C-Cat, when the Vikings lose games?
It's going to be J.J. McCarthy.
J.J. McCarthy's going to be hearing all of the brunt end of the headlines. The pressure is now officially on J.J. McCarthy to perform, and maybe he will do well. Maybe he will lead this Vikings team to maybe 7, 8, 9 wins in his rookie season, put up some decent stats. But at Michigan, when the going got tough, he was doing a lot of handing that ball off. And in the NFL, there's going to be moments where you're not going to be able to do that. They're going to have to rely on you pushing the ball down the field. And if J.J. McCarthy can't do that, all of the headlines around the Vikings are going to be on his shortcomings, especially in your own division when you got a guy like Caleb Williams. J.J. McCarthy, number 5. Number 4 on my list is a name you might not know. He's a tight end from the Raiders. His name is Michael Mayer. Former All-American at Notre Dame, and a guy who had a solid enough rookie season. He started off the year doing a lot of blocking. He became a viable pass-catching option for the Raiders. Well, C-Cat, I don't know if you saw, but at number 13 in the NFL draft in the first round, the Raiders picked another tight end. And he goes by the name of Brock Bowers. And if you're Michael Mayer, I don't know where your hand's been lately, but you better get used to putting that hand in the ground, because Brock Bowers is a pass-catching option. He is a threat. He is a weapon on the outside, on the inside, at tight end, and you're going to be doing a lot more blocking than pass catching. Michael Mayer, sorry to say it, but you're one of the losers from the NFL drafts round 1. At number 3 on my list of the top 5 losers from round 1 of the NFL draft, I got to go with the Buffalo Bills. You guys had a watch party for the NFL draft. You made your fans sit around and wait up all the way till the end of the draft, only to trade back twice. And not just trade back twice, the Bills are once again liable for trading back with my Kansas City Chiefs and allowing Patrick Mahomes to get the fastest man in the NFL entering the league in Xavier Worthy. If you are a Bills fan today, you are ticked off at Brandon Beane, the GM. And also, when the Chiefs are lighting it up and Patrick Mahomes has Travis Kelce, Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, like Marquise Brown from the Cardinals that they just picked up this past year, you have one team to blame, and that's the Buffalo Bills, because they're the ones that traded back with the Chiefs to give them Patrick Mahomes, and now they just gifted him a Ferrari in Xavier Worthy. And number 2 on the list is the team that was foolish enough to pick the 6th best quarterback at number 12 in the first round, the Denver Broncos. Sean Payton is trying to do all of these mental gymnastics and all this big brain stuff to make us think that Bo Nix was the guy he wanted all along in this draft. The Denver Broncos quarterback room is now Bo Nix and Zach Wilson and whoever the hell, and I don't care else, is in that run, Ben DiNucci. Like, the Denver Broncos are in quarterback hell right now, and instead of picking from a midst of a bunch of different team needs that the Broncos need, they reached on Bo Nix at 12 in the draft, and they're going to feel foolish for it in years to come. I don't know what Sean Payton's doing, but I know he's going to the bank and cashing checks. And at number 1 of my top 5 of teams or losers from the NFL drafts round 1 is Raheem Morris, head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. If you're Raheem Morris, you're saying, oh, this is great, man. My first time back here as a head coach. I get to lead the Falcons. They went out and they paid big money for Kirk Cousins. We got a number 8 pick in the draft. I got a defense that needs a lot of help. There's some pass rushers on the board because there's a big run of offensive players. Maybe the GM, Terry Fontenot, is going to give me somebody that can help me win games this season. And you know what they did? They went out there and they drafted Michael Penix Jr. And if you are, again, Raheem Morris, a guy whose job is to win games and win Super Bowls, like the way I look at the NFL structure, owners are there to stay the hell out of the way. Unless you're an idiot like that guy that's leading the Carolina Panthers, the owner's number 1 job is to stay out of the way. The GM's job is to keep his job, and the coach's job is to win Super Bowls. And Raheem Morris, his job just got a little bit harder in these coming years, and he's going to be judged by the win-loss record and not by the fact that you got a guy in Michael Penix Jr. waiting in the wings. I think Michael Penix Jr. can be good, but he needs a guy that can be playing football snaps for him. It's not like, in fantasy football, do you play any of those leagues that are, what do you call them?
Super flex.
Super flex. It's not super flex.
No.
You're not going to line up Michael Penix Jr. out wide and do some kind of double pass action. He can't help Raheem Morris win games now. And as much as you might think about how either big brain genius that pick was to get Michael Penix Jr., or if you're one of the people like me that think it was foolish and was a reach to get a guy like that who's 24 years old, who can't play snaps for you unless the guy that you gave $180 million is sitting on the bench, Terry Fontenot is just trying to keep his job. Because if Kirk Cousins screws things up, he can always say, well, we can go to Penix later, and that'll buy me another year. But Raheem Morris doesn't have that luxury. He's the number one loser from the NFL draft because now he has to try to win games with less in his arsenal. That's my top 5 losers from the NFL draft on the Top 5 Fridays here on Theoretically Speaking. C-Cat, where did I go wrong?
That's a strong list. That's an extremely strong list. I think Michael Mayer might fall into that line of Brock Bowers might be a distraction, and you kind of have that second-string tight end get a lot more targets because of that. Who's the guy on the Chiefs?
No, so the second guy is, what's his, Blake Bell.
Yeah, something like that. I think Michael Mayer
forget his name off the top
might
of my
catch some touchdowns next year because of Brock Bauer being the distraction. So I don't think I consider him a loser. I think he's ready for some competition. You know how tight ends are. He's ready for it.
Well, he could be ready for competitions all he wants, but when you got Devontae Adams and then a guy like Brock Bowers who demands targets, again, you get ready to put your hand in the dirt. Michael Mayer's going to be playing on snaps where they're handing the ball off, not snaps where they're trying to target the tight end.
Fair enough.
I feel bad for the guy.